This is my 1987 Toyota Supra Mark III with the 7M GTE. That's right, we are not working with the 2JZ in this car. We are sticking with the 7M. If you've been following the channel now, you know by now that this car now has a full standalone ECU. It's running on an ECU Master Classic, and we have rebuilt the entire fuel system in the car. In this video today, we are going to be removing the factory CT26 turbo, sending it off to my boys over at BoostLab, where they will be rebuilding it, putting bigger internals inside of the turbo. It's going to get the works. This turbo will flow roughly 2 to 3 times the amount of air and do it way more efficiently than it ever did from the factory back in 1986. This has been a long time coming. I am very excited for this. I hope you guys are too. So let's get into this. So along with removing the turbo on this car, we will also be removing the exhaust manifold. Now this exhaust manifold is a huge choke point. There's a lot of sharp bends and excess metal just thrown in there. It's pretty much what you would expect from your 1980s car. We're gonna be pulling that off, porting the ever-living crap out of it, and getting it to flow the air the new turbo will need to make this substantial power. This one, so that's backwards, but you know, whatever. Guys, if you haven't been on the website, check these things out. They're cool. They have the Deutsch 2-pin connector slot, so that slides right in. It's held securely. It'll hold up to heat. It's very durable. Go check them out on the website, billybuilds.com. Maybe heating up the turbo a little bit, letting it idle some, warm up, was a good call before starting on this. That one's not even tight. Yes. Yeah. As long as we don't spin this stud. Now I can't really show you the drain bolt flange on the motor, but as for the oil feed line, it looks like it's this bolt right there. I'm not sure if you can actually see it. There you go. So it's that one right there on the block. And then the drain bolt, obviously, well, it's down there. I can feel it. I can see it if I look just right, but you're not gonna be able to see it from the camera view. Gotta remove it from the motor. That way all of the studs and bolts come the same direction. I should just pull this guy out of here. This is just being in the way at this point. Can't exactly see it, but I can feel it. There's one, and then we go. Yeah, nice and easy. Yeah. Hey-ya. Get out of the way. Everything gets out of the way. I just should have cleared this off first. Alrighty. I did all that for this to just sit here. Whatever, that's okay. Turbo is off the car and ready to go, ready to get sent off for some big power. You know, this is a really rather large turbo, but it's just the inducer is so tiny. It's a big frame. Like, let's see the exhaust side here. Yeah, I mean, look at that. You got all the room in the world. Yeah, this turbo's in rather good shape, which is surprising and impressive. And I'd also like to upgrade the wastegate on it, because this wastegate's only like a 7-pound spring. Then we could ultimately push this turbo beyond like 15 to 16 psi, what's currently limited at. We'd at that point be able to push, hopefully, I mean, I'd like to see 20 plus psi and like 400 plus horsepower. The end all efficiency bottleneck here, I think, is really going to be this exhaust housing. The exhaust housing is going to hold us back quite a bit, but you know, we'll send it off, see what the doctor says, and hopefully prepare for some good news. Now, we just gotta get the exhaust manifold off. Hopefully, you know, we got a heat shield and a couple other nuts. Hopefully none of those studs break off. I should have probably soaked them in PB Blaster when I started this job, but here we are. So let's go ahead and get started on it. If any of them give me any kind of problem breaking free, I'm gonna stop on that one, hit it with some PB Blaster, and probably let it sit overnight. Also, to mention, here's one more oil leak that can get fixed while we're at it, because this O-ring is completely toasted. Let's see here. That one was not even tight. Oh no. It's pulling threads out of the head. That's not good. That one's not even tight. That's cool. Get this guy out of the way. Just lay it over. There we go. Unplug this, pull this bracket off, get it out of the way. And this is the super stupid inefficient log manifold for the 7M GTE. Yeah, we're gonna grind the ever-living crap and port the ever-living hell out of this manifold, guys. This thing's gonna flow. We're gonna open it up, let that new turbo breathe. So we're not gonna worry about the head ports right now because those head ports, well, the head's still bolted to the motor. One of these days, when I remove the head from the rest of the motor and actually rebuild the motor, I'll worry about those ports and we will do some serious exhaust porting because the exhaust ports on this motor suck when it comes down to it. But until that day comes, we're gonna work with what we got. So I'm gonna start porting the exhaust manifold. There are a lot of edges and corners on this manifold that really just need to be ground down, especially on this side coming out of the turbo. I'm probably gonna end up smoothing this out to give it a little bit more airflow coming out of it. There's so much excess casting within this manifold I know that can be ported out. I'm gonna go ahead and start with grinding this thing away, and you guys can just kind of see it when it's done over with. I'm not gonna bore you with all the little details. I'll get right back with you guys. All right guys, we are on the way to BoostLab right now to pick up the turbo for the Supra. It's been a couple weeks because, well, I kind of dropped it off there and told them I wanted a little more than what they had initially probably thought I wanted. Essentially, I kind of might have told them that I'd really like to be able to make over 500 horsepower with this turbo. So with that, we are going to pick up the turbo today. I'm very excited. I'm meeting Kirk, the owner there, and we're gonna check out what this thing's all about. Yep, this is it. All right, guys, so we're at BoostLab right now with the man, the myth, the legend, Kirk, owner, CEO of BoostLab, and he has done work on my CT26. If you want to go over in detail with me, what exactly, because this thing is going to be a monster of a CT26. I'm very excited for this. So what are we looking at here? What do we got?
Well, I mean, we literally took everything from the 1980s and chucked it out. Literally took all the old stuff out, put a much bigger compressor wheel in it. Obviously, much bigger compressor wheel. Turbine wheels are gonna have enough flow.
So we upgraded the turbine wheel as well as the compressor wheel because a lot of people just flip the turbine wheel. Yeah. And what size compressor wheel is this now?
This is a 60 millimeter compressor wheel.
60 millimeters, yes. And the factory is what, like a 40 something? Tiny?
Yeah, it's tiny.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, I'll put a picture in here of the size comparison between the two. What would you say this would flow? I mean, this should be capable of about 450, 500-ish?
No, more than that. I'd say.
Really?
Yeah, this one, I'd say roughly 550 or so.
Holy cow. You
get some straight head gaskets.
You've got your own wastegate on this too, which is fully adjustable, yes, correct?
Correct.
And what's the current spring pressure on that?
There's 1 bar.
Okay, so 14 PSI starting out, which if you guys remember, I was struggling to even get to 14 PSI on the old setup. So this thing's going to be awesome, and it looks beautiful. We got what, powder coated compressor housing as well, and yes, anodized or
ceramic Cerakote, yeah.
Cerakote, okay.
On the exhaust.
Hell yeah, dude. And this is the old exhaust wheel?
The old shaft right there,
dude. Yeah. So basically, if you look at this one, it is, as he was telling me, basically there's a lot of I don't know, angle, I guess you could say, to the.
Explain
this to
so
me
you have
better.
more. So you have more blade count on this one right here. So it's higher back pressure.
Okay.
So all you're really doing with the new turbine wheel is lessening the back pressure.
Okay.
So you can actually, the compressed wheel runs out before the turbine wheel now versus the other way around.
Right.
The turbine wheel will choke out before compressor wheel does.
Okay. Hell yeah. I'm freaking pumped. But thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm excited to see what this thing will do. And yeah, let's go put this on the car real quick.
Hell yeah.
All right, you guys, I'm back at the house. I've got the turbo here. Supra's ready to go. I got a freshly rebuilt CPS crank sensor in the car now. If you haven't watched that video, I don't know if I'm gonna release that after or before this one, but it's done, it's in the car, it's ready to go. If you haven't watched the video, go watch it. I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of gawking over this turbo probably for the last hour now. It's just beautiful. We got a powder coated black compressor housing. We got the Cerakoted turbine housing, obviously the billet compressor wheel, and then we've got the bigger exhaust wheel on the back side. This thing's waste state is currently set at 14 PSI, I believe. I should test it before I put it in the car just to make sure, but just for the hell of it here, I'm gonna measure the factory compressor blade, see what size it is exactly. Okay, so the old compressor wheel is about a 40, we'll say about a 46 millimeter, right? And this new one, well, I can't get it exactly, but we get up in here and we're measuring about 61 on the outside wall here. And there is like probably a half a millimeter of tolerance between the blade and the outer edge of this. So that would put it right at a 60 millimeter. So we're going from a 46 millimeter to a 60, which is just freaking massive. I mean, look, the old X-Deucer is just about the same size. It can almost fit in there, which is absolutely insane. Whew, this thing's gonna be the real deal. Okay guys, we are back here today on the Supra. It has been probably at least a week or two. I was out of town last weekend, went to go visit some of the Weiss family up north, got stuck in the snowstorm. It was not a good situation. Today, before we get the turbo installed, I had some exhaust manifold studs pull threads out of the head when I removed them. And well, last time I went to go put them in and get the manifold and turbo installed in the car, it was just spinning and I couldn't torque anything down to spec. Basically, I had to order a specialty drill bit. This is a 13/32 stubby drill bit because it's the only thing that would fit between the head of the motor and the strut tower over here. So I had to order that. We had to get the Healy coil set up because they don't sell these around me. It's a specialty thread. I think it's 12 by 1.25. It's a little bit finer pitch than most Healy coils readily available out there are. I did get those from Amazon, however, and I'll put a link down in the description if you guys need to order your own. So basically, I'm gonna go through, do this real quick, drill them out, retap it with this specialty drill bit that comes with the Healy coil kit, and then we're gonna thread the Healy coil in. And then we can start with putting my ported exhaust manifold onto the head. So let's get into this. Also, if you didn't notice, the garage door is shut, and that is because it's going to be like 25 degrees here. Might snow tonight. If you guys didn't know, I'm in Florida. It doesn't snow in Florida, but they're saying it might tonight. We have about a 30 or 40% chance of snow. Like, I left that when we were on vacation and I thought I left it there, but apparently it followed me, and this might be the first time it snows in like over 2 decades or something crazy. So yeah, let's get started on this. Clean out the threads really good. There we go. Now we will we'll bump it up to 30. We're gonna go to 38. And luckily for me, I've got an assortment of O-rings this time. So we cleaned up the O-ring groove here and put a 4.5 by 1 millimeter O-ring inside. Might actually be a 5 millimeter, but I'm pretty sure it measured out to about 4.5. Let's see here. This one has to go like this. This one faces the outside, so it's gotta be this one. So we gotta put this one right here. Then we gotta do this guy, like so. And before we put the last piece on, being the downpipe, I'm gonna have to shift the car out, push it back in to shift it over, and then we're gonna jack it up to underneath. This is not the same downpipe that came out of the car. This one should flow a little bit better. It's not a new downpipe. It is a new, to me, used downpipe that's been modified. I don't even know the brand of it, but it seems pretty straight through. It's got a cast elbow, but it's opened up at the bell mouth area and everything else. So, well guys, I'm a genius, but I'm also a complete idiot. I've been looking around this whole time for my O2 sensor, and I've looked my old downpipe, I've checked out my new downpipe, I looked where I put the new downpipe for a while in the shed, so where could it be, right? Well, I'm smarter than I give my own self credit for, because lo and behold, it's chilling right here. It's connected, it never left the car. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing put in, and then we can start the car. All right, you guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. We're gonna go into a bit of a part 2 on this, because obviously we gotta drive the car, we gotta dial in the tune, gotta adjust the air fuels, possibly pull out some timing in the mid-range and the top end, because this turbo is gonna totally change the characteristics of this engine. Also, I'm gonna need that midsection for the test pipe, because the exhaust is completely open after the downpipe as of right now. So that'll be here next week, and then once that gets in, I'll chuck that in under the car. Hopefully it'll bolt right up without any issues. I kind of ordered a generic one, so we'll see what happens. But I'm freaking pumped, you guys. This has been a long time coming. Stay tuned for the next video. We're gonna be driving the car. We're gonna be dialing in the tune a little bit. Problem I have right now is that it is like 30 degrees outside. Not really optimal for tuning the car. So we're gonna be dialing in the car when the temperature is a little bit better. So stay tuned for that. If you aren't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button, smash the like button. It really helps out the channel, helps out the algorithm. Stay tuned for next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you later.